Hey everyone, Selman here from WynnStrength.com. Currently working through our deadlift warm-ups for today's workout session. Today's training is actually going to involve some heavy bench pressing, heavy deadlifts, which we're warming up for, and finally wrapping up with some pause squats with the SS choke button. Pretty simple day, squat, bench, deadlift. Again, ramping towards that peaking phase where we are focusing on heavy singles rather than working towards any volume, hypertrophy, or frequency goals. So really getting super specific with the workouts this week. Obviously doing heavy singles, we're warming up for that. Won't be doing a lot of reps. So there's just going to be 3 sets of 3 reps at the end of this. Nothing crazy. Again, really driving towards that volume. Warm-ups today, if you follow along, I just do the movement for the day. So we're starting off with some wide grip RDLs. That's probably the only variant that I do for the warm-ups. And then we just load up some weight and then we ramp down the reps as we ramp up the weight. So 135 for 5, this will be 225, do that for 3, then we go 315 for a single, and then we'll see where we go from there, either 365 or 405, and then we'll be right around that time where we can start adding some serious weights and working up towards that. Okay, so that'll be our top set for today, calling it 495 for a heavy single. That'll be our top set at RPE 9. Today, just not feeling it. That's the one thing that I feel is great with RPE style templates, or using at least a RPE scale in your own training, is that when the day isn't going too good, so today the weight feels extraordinarily heavy in my hands, I'm not feeling as fired on as I normally do. I didn't get that great sleep last night, so that's probably going to be adding to those factors there. Even mental state, mental fatigue, all that is just a complex picture of what goes into our training state. There's a huge field about this, like psychology in sports is huge. Any professional athlete will tell you that. And you can look at them, that's why there's so much money involved with it. But it does play an important role in how we factor in training. And yes, there's time and place where you have to just go all out and make sure that you are putting in that effort, because even though you might not be putting in the effort all the time, if you're putting that in 80% of the time, then you're going to be making long, steady gains. So intensity doesn't always have to be at 1,000%. Showing up, doing the work, and knowing that you're within arm's reach of the heaviest you've ever done is probably going to be a good scale there. And over time, what happens with RPE training is that you definitely understand how your body reacts to certain training. You'll get a feeling for when you're kind of sandbagging it and when you're actually feeling tired. Today, I'm pretty certain I'm actually feeling pretty fatigued, and what the RPE training does is that it auto-regulates the weight. So if you're using a program where there's strict weight set in place with no room for variability, it's very hard to alter that on the course of training. If you have a bad day, yes, you might say, oh, you need to suck it up and all this type of stuff, but again, it's more complex than that. There's a lot of things that are going on in your life and what's going to help lift weights. You don't always have to obviously lift heavy all the time. It's a complex factor for that. And by auto-regulating the stress, you're going to help the body mitigate having too much stress. So when we put too much stress on the body, we're not being productive anymore. So especially with using weights, for example, if we were hypothetically to lift a 1 RM deadlift every single day, day after day for 3 weeks, I doubt we're going to see an increase in that 1 rep max after those 3 weeks, even though we're being hyper specific and we're somehow finding the energy to 1 rep max deadlift all the way through. That's not a clever training strategy, and that, yes, that's an extreme, but it illustrates the point that you have to balance this stress and adaptation and recovery. And one way to look at that without getting too complex is just simply RPE training. So build your way up. How does that weight feel on the way up? And always be thinking about that in the back of your head. And then look back on it in footage. If it felt heavy but it came up quick, maybe you are sandbagging and maybe you're just not feeling it that great. And even still, even if you do sandbag a couple of workouts here and there, if that's a couple of workouts here and there, but it's maybe 3 workouts over the course of 4 months, then I mean, that's not that many workouts. And if it extended your ability to work out harder, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe if you push it too far on that day, you're going to pull something that wouldn't have been pulled if you didn't push that hard. Or you're going to set a new PR that day and you'll be fine. Or you're going to set that new PR and you'll be wrecked for an extra couple of weeks because you've pushed that body past that stress threshold and that you weren't able to recover from, because the rest of the workout is based on you being able to recover from that one training session that's going to build up on the other training sessions. So each individual training session isn't as important as how each training session accumulates and progresses throughout the course of the week. So you don't want to have this awesome workout today or this awesome training session that you went balls to the wall 1,000%, but now it's going to negatively affect the subsequent workouts for the rest of that week. You want this workout to build onto the next workout, to build onto the next workout. And by listening to your body and making sure that you're kind of following those RPE guidelines, you're not pushing it too hard, but you're still pushing, obviously, because we're still having to lift heavy weights, we're still having to build up on that. We're able to progressively overload and push ourselves to go further and further things. So yeah, keep that in mind when you're training. Yes, intensity is great, but you also need to think about longevity and how is today's workout session going to build up on tomorrow's workout session. Very important thing to think about there. So that'll wrap up bench pressing for today. Definitely caught a lot earlier than what I thought I would be able to get through today. Mainly we're calling off the bench press just because this pain, the shoulder pain that's stemming from the low bar back squat, is really just messing up with my biceps right now. And every time I lower that weight, now I started 275, which is about 50 pounds shy of my actual 1 rep max. I felt like I wouldn't be able to get that back up on that lowering phase. Even now it feels like there's a lot of pain right here in the inner bicep joint on both arms now. Normally it just aggravates on the one side, but it does definitely feel like there's a lot of pain right there. And even my grip feels shaky almost. So I know personally with my own training experience and history is that this isn't one of those pain sensations that's going to go away with extra work. I've tried pushing through it before and it just aggravates my shoulder and bicep joints, muscles, tendons, whatever they are, a little bit more so than usual, and it takes me about a week or two to get better from that if I keep pushing through it. So when it pops up, I tend to just take the foot off the gas and really ease off, and today I'm actually just going to stop altogether. I know that it does, I'm 99% sure that it stems from that low bar back squat, but because we are pushing that for the program, the template, I'm going to try and push through that just for one more week, just to get through that testing phase, and we'll kind of hopefully try and make it through there. I'm actually just going to call today's workout. We did schedule for some more squats today, but again, with this pain happening, I'm just not feeling it. My mind's not in the right place today. Now that's just how it goes. Sometimes you're just not feeling it. We did put in some work with the deadlift, which is cool, and we did get some reps out with the bench press, but this pain is just super aggravating. Sometimes you do get frustrated in the gym, and today's kind of one of those days just because lack of sleep, everything kind of culminating today. But so we'll hit it back. We just have another day this week, so we're just doing 3 days out of this week. So hopefully that'll help my body, give it some time to recover and reduce some of the whatever is causing this inflammation until we stress it again next week with some more low bar back squats. Obviously, moving forward after we get through with this peaking and testing, I'm just going to go back to that safety squat yoke barbell just because I trained with that for months and bench press successfully without having any shoulder issues. So when I just deduce those two things together, I'm pretty sure it's this low bar back squat positioning. I might try to convert over to a high bar back squat, but that's kind of awkward for me. But again, we'll try pushing through with that. And yeah, just a disappointing day, week 12, halfway through the training week. But nevertheless, push through. Never give up 99% of the time. It's just you showing up and putting in that work day after day. Remember, it's not one single day's training that's going to affect you. It's going to be that year, that decade of training that's going to really push you forward. So tune in for another day of the training vlog. We're reaching the end of the training cycle, so we'll see just one more week, and then we're going to do some testing. This has been Stellan from WynnStrength, and remember, a better life through strength.